Kumusta po kayo mga kabayan? There were changes again as expected in the arrival protocol in the Philippines. So in this video, we are going to give you the latest step-by-step procedure if you are flying home soon or planning to come back soon to the Philippines from November 1 onwards. We will speak in both English and Filipino. For protocols concerning Filipinos only, we will speak in the Filipino language. For protocols concerning all passengers, including foreign nationals, we will speak in English. Para sa mga bagay na kailangan linawin mabuti, magbibigay po tayo ng mga karagdagang paliwanag gamit ang wikang Filipino. In this video, we will cover rules and requirements for OFWs and non-OFWs, balikbayans, dual citizens, and foreign nationals. We summarized the arrival steps to the Philippines, and there are a total of 5 steps. So please watch the full video to get all the important things you need to know. This video will be very detailed and we tried to answer most of the frequently asked questions. So please pakipanood po yung video kasi kadalasan po ng mga tanong sa comment ay sinagot na po sa mismong video. We will discuss what you need to prepare, what registrations you have to accomplish before your flight, then what are the documents that you have to show during check-in, QR code, do you need an RT-PCR, how about transit flights? We will discuss the things you have to expect when you arrive in the Philippine airports. Then we will explain the color coding scheme of the Iatf in determining your quarantine days and how your vaccination status can shorten your quarantine period. Then lastly, how are you supposed to go home after your quarantine? If you have not subscribed yet, please consider to do so you'd get notified when uploads like these are made. Note that the protocols in the Philippines will change, so please check in our YouTube page this playlist entitled Latest Arrival Protocol. We always save there the latest protocols. Also, we have a playlist entitled Travel Guide related to your travel to the Philippines. In the latest arrival protocol, you will also see the latest One Health Pass registration procedure, Trace App tutorial, VaxCert PH tutorial, and the uuwi na program tutorial. In the travel guide section, you will see the baggage allowance tutorial, transit rule discussions, and how to check your flight status. And again, thank you to you all, our dear subscribers, especially our channel members who are making this video possible, at sa mga walang sawang pumipindot ng like button at nagbibigay ng kanilang mga comment sa comment section. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Okay, let's begin. Step 1. Before your flight. This is the most important part, so please listen very carefully. We will try to explain it in details. If in case it still won't be clear for you, please ask questions in the comment section. If we are not able to answer promptly, please consider to watch the video again because maybe if you watch it again, you may get your answer. Baka po kasi nasagot na ang inyong tanong at kailangan lang ay panoorin po ito ulit. Baka po kasi hindi namin masagot agad-agad lahat ng tanong sa comment box. Okay, so for passengers arriving via NAIA, Clark, Subic, Laoag, and Davao, generate a QR code using the website https://www.onehealthpass.com.ph. Yes, this is a website. You cannot find it in the App Store. If you type the website, this is how it will look like on your phone, or something very similar if you will use your computer. When do you need to get your valid QR code? Answer is 24 hours before departure. Ang inyo pong QR code ay mag-expire in 24 hours. Kaya po mag-generate lang ng final QR code 24 hours before your first flight. We have a video explaining the registration process in One Health Pass, including what you need to provide in the online forms. For example, what you need to put in the port of exit field. How about if you are traveling as a family? Just click the video at the top right part corner, pointed to by this arrow. Or you can go to our channel page and check the videos in the playlist titled Latest Protocol. The important thing to remember here is generate only your final QR code 24 hours before departure. So for example, ang inyong flight ay November 30 at 6 p.m. Minus 1 day po, November 29 at 6 p.m. onwards, you have to generate your QR code in One Health Pass. You can do it at home or at the airport. Just make sure you have a stable internet connection and all needed documents are with you. So how about those with multiple connecting flights and then the travel time is more than 24 hours? Please register before your first flight. I understand that this is a gap because whoever implemented this 24-hour before departure rule clearly did not think about that flight duration can take more than 24 hours. So I suggest generate your QR code before your first flight. So I repeat, ang One Health Pass ay kailangan lamang sa mga lalapag ng Maynila, Clark, Subic, Laoag at Davao. So how about those arriving via Cebu as their first port of arrival? Kung ang inyong unang airport na lalapagan ay Cebu, your quarantine and swab test will be in Cebu. So for example, your flight from abroad will land in Cebu, then you have another flight to Clark. Please take note that your quarantine will be in Cebu and not in Clark. Dahil sa Cebu po kayo unang pumasok ng Pilipinas. So, for OFWs, it does not matter because your hotel is free and your flight to Clark will be free after your quarantine. But for non-OFWs, I hope that you booked your quarantine hotel in Cebu and not in Clark. And also, you have to consider that you book your flight in consideration of the number of days you will be quarantined in Cebu. Too complicated for non-OFWs po, unfortunately. So in Cebu, you need to register in https://mactancebuairport.com/covid-19.registration. In this Mactan Cebu link, you can already register 5 days prior to your departure. For example, your flight is on November 30 at 6 p.m. Magbilang ng 5 araw bago ang flight. So 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 5 araw. November 25 at 6 p.m. onwards, pwede na po kayong mag-register. Please take note of these rules. Number 1, all passengers need to do this registration. Without this registration, you will not be allowed to board the aircraft. So this is your most important registration. All passengers, including children. So 1 passenger equals 1 registration. You can use 1 email for all if you're traveling as a family. You can use 1 mobile number for all. Important is 1 QR code or barcode for 1 passenger. Number 2, fully vaccinated or not, you need to register. Bakunado o hindi, kailangan magrehistro. Number 3, Filipino or not, you need to register. Wala pong exemption, lahat po talaga. Okay, the next thing you need to do is install and download and register in the Trace app. We have a tutorial about how to do this, so please check it out in our YouTube page in the latest arrival protocol playlist. Next, for OFWs, dati po ay kailangan ng Oasis, but if you check the Philippine Airlines Guideline, they already removed the Oasis. So, hindi na po kailangan ng Oasis. One Health Pass na lang din po ang ginagamit para mabigyan kayo ng free hotel. For non-OFWs, you have to book your quarantine hotel in a DOT-accredited establishments. The links of these accredited hotels are in the description box of this video. Linawin po natin ulit para sa mga hindi aware. Kung kayo ay OFW, libre po ang hotel so hindi nyo kailangan mag-book. But for non-OFWs, you need to have a confirmed hotel booking. If you are fully vaccinated and you are coming from a green country in the last 14 days prior to your arrival, you are eligible to the no quarantine protocol as long as you have valid and verifiable proof of vaccination with you. We will discuss this in details later, so keep watching po. If you are fully vaccinated and are coming from a yellow country like USA, Saudi Arabia, Canada, UAE, Qatar, and many more, kung kayo ay non-OFW, book 6 days or 5 nights hotel accommodation. Lastly, for non-OFWs, if you are not fully vaccinated, meaning unvaccinated o walang bakuna, partially vaccinated o hindi kompleto ang bakuna, 8 days or 7 nights po ang kailangan nyong i-book. And based from feedback from our viewers, mixed vaccine is already accepted. Okay po, so basta approved ng Pilipinas ang inyong bakuna, which I think is 99% approved po yung inyong mga bakuna abroad. Kahit mixed vaccine pa, tinatanggap po sa Pilipinas. Step 2, check-in. So, you need to present your QR code or barcode which we discussed earlier. Then the airlines will check your trace app because it's in their airline guidelines. Okay, so pwedeng hanapin itong trace, pwedeng hindi. At huwag pong magulat kung pagdating ng Pilipinas ay hindi naman gagamitin itong trace. Pero tulad ng sinabi namin, dahil ito ay nasa airline guideline, ito ay maaaring hanapin sa check-in at kung matapat sa mahigpit na airline staff, baka po magka-problema. So we send so many emails and messages to government agencies involved in this trace requesting them to remove this as a requirement, but we did not get any response. Hindi po tayo napapansin. So pwedeng hanapin, pwedeng hindi. For now, ang importante, ready po tayo kung hanapin man. In addition, you have to bring a face mask. Note that in Laoag International Airport, you need a special type of mask called N95 or N95. Third, you also need to bring a face shield, and we highly recommend that you bring with you your own pen or ball pen because you will be filling out a lot of forms. Next thing, you have to know the other requirements in your country of origin. Like for example, the Tawakal na app is required in Saudi Arabia. So you still need to have that. Next, you have to check if you need an RT-PCR test. So this is a very, very complex and difficult topic. One thing is for sure, if you are flying via Philippine Airlines direct flight via PAL from abroad to Philippines, you don't need RT-PCR test. Sa mga yellow country tulad ng USA at Saudi Arabia, kung direct flight po kayo, hindi po kailangan ng RT-PCR test. Dahil ang protocol ng Pilipinas, sa quarantine hotel po ang swab test ninyo. For those not flying via PAL and those with transit, you have to answer these 4 questions. And if you cannot find the answer, I would highly recommend to get an RT-PCR test to be safe. So how do you get the answer? You have to call your airlines po. So mahirap na pong hindi makasakay ng eroplano dahil lang walang RT-PCR. Very complicated po ito lalo sa mga maraming transit, kaya kung sigurista tayo, then mag-RT-PCR na lang po. Example, you need to know, is it required by the destination country? In our case, ang destination ay Pilipinas. Required ba ito sa Pilipinas? It depends. Manila, Clark, Subic, and Cebu, RT-PCR prior boarding is not required. But if you are flying or diverted to Laoag, then you need 48 hours RT-PCR test. So I checked the Davao protocol and there it is not specified anymore that you need RT-PCR test. Now, that is only the first question. You also need to check if your airport is requiring it. As of today, I don't know of any airport requiring RT-PCR to enter. So, hindi po ito normal na hihingin para makapasok ng airport. The next question na lang is it required by your airlines? For example, Emirates, depende po ito kung saan kayo galing. Mayroon kaming tutorial at in-explain po namin doon ang transit rule sa Dubai. Now, the last one, which is the most difficult one, if you have multiple transit. So, complicated po yung mga rules ng airlines and we cannot discuss everything here. But here is the list of country. So, itong mga country na ito, kung may transit kayo dito, sure po yan, kailangan nyo ng RT-PCR test. Kung transit po kayo sa Abu Dhabi sa UAE, Thailand, Malaysia, Muscat, Oman, Singapore, kung may transit po kayo dyan, kailangan nyo po ng RT-PCR. Para sa mga transit ng Doha, Qatar, hindi po required ang RT-PCR kung transit lang kayo ng Doha, Qatar. For those with transit in Japan or Korea, if you are not going to go out of the airport, you don't need RT-PCR. We cannot discuss everything, so please just ask in the comment section saan ang transit po ninyo. Okay, next, requirements will differ depending if you are OFW, non-OFW, Balikbayan, dual citizen, or foreign national. First, let's clarify again, who are OFWs? Ang mga OFW ay may mga valid na work permit, mayroong valid na Philippine Passport, at mayroong validated contract galing ng POEA or POLO. Kung mayroon po kayo ng mga dokumentong ito, ang tawag sa inyo ay Documented OFW. Paano naman po yung mga dating OFW, mga nawalan ng trabaho o yung mga finished contract na? So kung kayo po ay dating OFW, meron pa rin kayo ng mga lumang OEC, lumang OWA membership, lumang validated contract ng POLO, OFW pa rin po kayo. Para naman po sa mga direct hire na hindi dumaan ng POEA, makipag-ugnayan po kayo sa polo para po malaman ang dapat gawin. Lastly, kahit wala kayong OEC o validated contract, kung kayo naman po ay aktibong miyembro pa rin ng OWA, then OFW po kayo. So, ito po ang tip, mag-renew na po kayo ng OWA ninyo. Bakit po? Kasi po documented man or undocumented na OFW, at pati na po ang asawa at anak ninyo kung kasabay po ninyong uuwi, kayo po ay OFW. At sa OFW po, libre po ang lahat. Pagdating nyo ng Pilipinas, hotel, SWAB, pagkain, shuttle papuntang hotel, pati na rin ang paghatid sa inyo pauwi ng probinsya. Sagot po ng OWA. Okay po, so sa mga kababayan nating OFW, bukod sa mga binanggit na natin sa taas, ang dadalhin po ay ang inyong valid Philippine Passport, ang inyong ticket, at kung bakunado kayo ay ang inyong digital vaccination certificate. So paano kung hindi bakunado? Okay lang po, makakauwi pa rin. Ang bakuna ay para lang mapaigsi ang inyong quarantine. Kung walang bakuna, okay lang, mas mahaba lang ang quarantine, pero sagot pa rin po ng gobyerno. Okay, so paano naman ang mga kababayan natin na non-OFW? Sinusuno po ba ang mga non-OFW? So non-OFW meaning mga Filipino citizen kayo na hindi nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa, tulad po ng mga naka-tourist visa, mga naka-long-term visa, student visa. Kung kayo naman po ay OFW at uuwi po ang inyong asawa at anak pero hindi kayo kasama, magiging non-OFW po sila. So, sagot po nila ang kanilang lahat ng gastos pag-uwi ng Pilipinas. So, paano naman po ang magulang ng OFW? Sila po ay non-OFW pa rin. Asawa at anak lamang po ang pwedeng i-consider na OFW. Basta kasama kayong uuwi. Sa mga non-OFW nating kabayan, unfortunately po, sagot po ninyo lahat ng inyong pag-uwi. Pero don't worry po, ang mahalaga naman ay makauwi tayo ng safe at makasama ang ating pamilya. At sa mga susunod po na buwan, magluluwag na po ang Pilipinas at ang opinion po namin, kung kayo ay fully vaccinated, then magiging mas madali na po ang inyong magiging pag-uwi. Okay, for non-OFWs, bring your valid Philippine Passport, ticket, and digital vaccination card, which is optional, or the WHO yellow card. And very important, your confirmed hotel booking. This is almost the same requirement for Balikbayan and dual citizen. You just have to bring your foreign passport, your ticket, digital vaccination card, or WHO yellow card. Then very important, your confirmed hotel booking. So, you also have to prove your Filipino roots, so you have to bring your Philippine passport. We always advise you to bring this because when you leave the country, when you leave the Philippines, the immigration officer might look for it. And if you don't have it, you may have to pay some penalty if you stay there for a long time. If you don't have your Philippine passport, these are accepted as well. Either your authentic birth certificate or certificate of reacquisition, retention, or recognition, or identification certificate. Foreign nationals holding valid visas like the investor visa or the 9A and 9E visa can enter the Philippines. Bring your foreign passport, ticket, digital vaccination certificate, or WHO yellow card. Then very important, your confirmed hotel booking. Foreign spouse and children of Filipinos traveling with them can enter visa-free if you're a citizen of the country that is visa-free in the Philippines. We have the link of the list in the description box. If you're not traveling with your Filipino spouse or parent, then you need to bring an authentic marriage certificate or birth certificate, plus you have to secure a visa. You have to check with the nearest Philippine consulate in your country. Step 3. Arrival at the airport. So you have passed the two most difficult steps. And now, welcome to the Philippines. Maligayang pagbabalik po mga kabayan. Upon arrival, do not think so much about the protocol because the Philippine authorities will give you a briefing about the current protocols and steps at the time of your arrival. If it is not your first time to go home, then you already know most of the things to do like fill out arrival card, customs form, etc. And then there is a lane separating OFW and non-OFWs. Pumila lang po sa tamang linya, OFW or non-OFW. You have to present your QR code together with the other forms you filled out. The BOQ will then verify your vaccination cards or digital vaccination cards to determine the number of days of your quarantine. Now proceed to the Bureau of Immigration for arrival clearance, then to baggage claim and customs inspection. Para sa mga OFW, mayroon kayong free OWA bus or shuttle papunta sa quarantine hotel. If you are non-OFW, you have to take your accredited or arranged transport service or airport taxi to the hotel. Step 4, quarantine. In here, it is important to know about the red, green, and yellow list of the Philippines. From November 1 to 15, this is the green list. So some of the countries with a lot of Filipinos include China, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Poland, and Taiwan. In the red list, from November 1 to 15, there is only one country, which is Latvia. Then, yellow list is rest of the world. Ano po ibig sabihin? Kung hindi kayo kasama sa green at red, then nasa yellow po kayo. Hindi na po namin nilista dyan kasi sobrang dami po. But for the sake of our viewers, na for sure marami pa rin magtatanong about yellow list, ito po yung mga ilan sa mga bansa kung saan marami tayong viewers. So, Saudi Arabia, USA, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Canada, France, Japan, Singapore, UK, Italy, Malaysia, Bahrain, Israel, Oman, Germany, Australia, Lebanon, Jordan, South Korea, Spain. So sa mga viewers po natin sa mga bansang ito, nasa yellow list po kayo. And many more. So just check, basta wala sa green at red, nasa yellow po kayo. Now let's talk about this new general rule about quarantine. If you are fully vaccinated and coming from green or yellow and you want to avail of the shortened or no quarantine protocol, you have to prove your vaccination. And these are the accepted documents. For OFWs, your yellow card kung bakunado kayo sa Pilipinas or your VaxCert PH kung bakunado kayo sa Pilipinas. So meron po kaming tutorials kung paano nyo ito makukuha. Pero karamihan po sa inyo ay bakunado abroad. So the good news is still you can just bring your digital vaccination certificate na mayroong QR code for verification at hindi na po kailangan ng reciprocity agreement na patungkol sa VaxCert PH. Okay po, OFW lamang po ito. Paglilinaw po, hindi na kailangan ang polo validation. Okay po, hindi na po required ang polo validation. Digital vaccination certificate lang sa inyong mobile phone, sapat na. Ngayon, mas okay po kung printed copy na ito kasi yung ibang mobile apps gumagana lang pag may internet. Yung iba naman gumagana rin kahit walang internet pero mas okay pa rin po talaga kung may printed copy kayo. Baka malobat pa ang inyong cellphone. Now, in the latest Iatf protocol, if you are non-OFW or foreign national, these are the accepted vaccination documents. Your ICV or yellow card or the WHO yellow card. So, most European countries in the mainland Europe have this. You can just go to your family doctor or the pharmacy to get this. If you are in the US, this is not being issued there. VaxCert PH is also accepted if you are vaccinated in the Philippines. So, of course, now most of you are vaccinated abroad. The thing is, IATF somehow changed their mind again, and now also non-OFWs, they want your country to acknowledge the VaxCert PH in a reciprocal arrangement. But they have a phrase there stating unless otherwise permitted by IATF. So there is no list or whatever about which country, which digital vaccination certificates they are accepting. So for foreign national, the only way is for your country to acknowledge the VaxCert PH, unfortunately. In the past weeks, the USA CDC white card has been accepted, but now with the new IATF protocol, they are changing it again. So this is still not sure sa ating mga kababayan na umuwi simula November 1 at uuwi pa lang this November. Request po, please share in the comment section kung kayo ay non-OFW. Kung inaccept pa rin po ba ang inyong USA CDC white card or ang mga digital vaccination certificate po na inisyu sa ibang bansa. Salamat po in advance dahil lang pag-share po ninyo ay makakatulong po sa ating mga kababayan. Okay, now let's proceed to your quarantine protocol. If you are fully vaccinated, mga fully vaccinated lamang po muna, and you are coming from a green country, yung mga nilista natin sa green kanina tulad ng China, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Poland at Taiwan at iba pang green countries. So you can bring a 72-hour RT-PCR test prior departure. If you have it, when you arrive in the Philippines, you don't need to quarantine. Okay po, diretso bahay. Then you will have to do self-monitoring at home until day 10. So the counting will start on day 1, which is the day you arrive. Tandaan lamang po, dapat 14 days minimum kayo sa loob ng green country. Now, how about those fully vaccinated and coming from a green country but you don't have an RT-PCR test? Okay lang po. Of course, you are still very allowed to enter. But you will stay at the hotel quarantine until your test result is available. So, para sa mga Pilipino na walang pambayad ng RT-PCR at galing ng green country, okay lang din po yan. Mag-quarantine lang po hanggang lumabas ang result. Maybe 2 to 3 days. So, maghihintay lamang po talaga. Then, paglabas, self-monitor up to 10 days. Paano naman kung transit lang sa non-green country? So this has been clarified for so many times by Iatf. If you are merely transiting, you did not clear the immigration of your transit country, you stayed inside the airport lang, then hindi kayo considered na pumasok sa non-green country. Okay po, so sa One Health Pass, wag po ninyong ilalagay na nag-exit kayo sa yellow or red dahil tatagal po ang inyong quarantine. Okay, let's give focus on the yellow country because most of us will be coming from this kind of country. First question, are you coming from a yellow country? Tulad po ng Saudi Arabia, USA, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Canada, France, Japan, Singapore, UK, Italy, Malaysia, Bahrain, Israel, Oman, Germany, Australia, Lebanon, Jordan, South Korea, Spain. Now, if you're coming from one of these countries, the next question is, do you have ICV or yellow card? If not, do you have a Vaccert PH? If not, do you have a digital vaccination certificate? For example, NHS in UK, Sehati in KSA, notarized in Singapore, and other national digital vaccination certificate with QR code. In the European Union, do you have the EU DCC? In Germany, the COV Pass. In Austria, the Gruner Pass. In Italy, the EU DCC. If you have any of these, kung mayroon kayo ng kahit isa dyan, then this is your protocol. Day 1 is your arrival date. Present QR code upon check-in. On day 5, you will have your RT-PCR test taken. Present your QR code. On day 5 onwards, you will get your test result. If the result is negative, you will get a BOQ certificate and then you can check out already. Paglabas ng test result, pwede na pong umuwi. Then, home quarantine until day 10. The counting will start on day 1. So, maximum of 10 days lang po yan. Kasama sa bilang ang pagdating ninyo sa Pilipinas. So, paano naman po yung hindi bakunado? Or yung mga galing ng green or yellow pero hindi inaccept yung vaccination card? Don't worry too much. The important thing is you are now safe and already in the Philippines. Have you been in Latvia in the last 14 days? If not, then you are still in this protocol. So, those without vaccine are considered not fully vaccinated. If you are only partially vaccinated, you are still considered not fully vaccinated. Even if you are fully vaccinated, but the Philippine authority will not accept your vaccination document, you will be considered not fully vaccinated, and this is your protocol. If you are non-OFW, please make sure to book 8 days or 7 nights of hotel. If you are OFW, the hotel is still free. Your day 1 is the day of your arrival. On day 7, you will have your RT-PCR test taken. Then once you get the result, hopefully mabilis, some of our kababayans mabilis dumating. 24 hours meron na sila. Pero yung iba po, 2 to 3 days pa raw lumabas. So if you are unvaccinated or yung vaccination card ay hindi inaccept, paglabas ng hotel, may home quarantine po pero maximum of 14 days lang. Ang start ng pagbibilang ay simula ng inyong pagdating sa Pilipinas. Note that should your RT-PCR test turn positive, the BOQ will transfer you to a designated hospital for further medical management. For more information on quarantine testing procedures and international vaccination certificates, please visit the Bureau of Quarantine website at https://quarantine.doh.gov.ph. Now we go to the final step, which is going home. Para sa mga OFW, maaari kayo mag-avail ng OWA Uwian na program. Ito ay ang libreng pamasahe saan man sa Luzon, Visayas o Mindanao. Para sa mga non-OFW, you have to arrange your own transport service to your final destination or you can call your relatives to pick you up. At the terminal, you will receive your final instructions from the Philippine authorities. Then, Finally, you will be home, and depending on where you came from and if you are fully vaccinated or not, then you have to complete home quarantine if applicable. Thank you for watching. Hiling po namin na sana ay nakatulong ang video na ito. Mabuhay po kayo. Have a safe flight, stay healthy, and see you on the next update. Maraming salamat po.